Damon Heta there, one Australian who can take his ludicrous hairdo off for the start of the game, taking on Simon Whitlock, who does not have that option. The two World Cup winners paired up to take the title in 2022 for Australia for the first time, now pitted against one another. Now they have met before, they met 5 times before. Whitlock has only won 1. Got to go back 3 years for that. In fact, it was Damon Heta's breakthrough, winning the Brisbane Darts Masters, beat Simon Whitlock on the way to the title. That was when he was first showing signs of him being a top player, but, well, I'll be honest, I certainly didn't foresee what he would go on to do. The man sat next to me, Paul Nicholson, said at the time he felt he could be a really big force in the game, and he's been proven to be correct over the last few years, because that was his first PDC title. He has since won 8 more, including a Pro Tour event this year already. Damon Heta beating Ryan Searle in the final, a sensational period of 4 consecutive 12 darters in that final. The kind of brilliance which suggests that he is in the form to be a threat for this title this weekend, Paul.
Absolutely. A former quarter-finalist as well. And when you're in pretty good nick coming into a UK Open, you just fancy it might be your time.
58.
Now, I don't know if you've noticed this, but this is a big, big thing for Damon. The stem he's using right here is different to what he's used the last few years. He's used the same one for ages. This is not what's called an Alamo stem, which has been around for decades, where you got black plastic, or indeed some other colours, and a metallic top. Very popular from the late 80s through to the present day. He's not using them now. He's gone to something else, trying to unlock that extra 1% that he's looking for. It might just make all the difference.
Now, how big a difference does that make, Paul?
It's microscopic, but sometimes if you try something new and you just get a new feeling with it, run with it. And you think about Alan Warren a little at his peak in the early 90s, in his first peak. He used to use those lollipop stems that were very popular.
55.
They stopped making them. And then he was so in the mold of, I need those stems. He actually went out and found every set he could find until he'd run out of the whole lot. And then he had to move to something else. It's a really big thing for some people.
You can get wedded to particular sets of equipment.
96.
Which is why somebody like Whitlock, to be fair, because he moves around so much, doesn't really matter. Give him anything, no throw.
He's not even using stems that match. We talked about that this afternoon when he was playing, because he's the only person of our 8 players tonight who played this afternoon.
Simon, you require 110.
So 110. Now it's treble 17. And that leaves double top. Yeah, very nicely done by the wizard.
Second leg Damon to throw first.
Hit 9 darter the other day, Simon Whitlock. His 11th competitive 9 darter of his career. Hit it against Luke Littler. Played amazingly in that game, still lost 6-5.
Amazing how many times you hit 9 darters and lose. That's incredible, isn't it? 11 9 darters.
60.
What a career he's had. I mean, you look at his CV, it's something you could just sit and read all day. The amount of things he's won, and that there are lots of tournaments that aren't recorded on a lot of the databases that we read that he's won. I mean, I talk about Simon all the time, and that gold nugget that's around his neck, you can see it just around the beard. Tennant Creek, Australia, right in the middle of the country. They have a great tournament there, and the winner gets a gold nugget. He's won it multiple times.
Yeah, there's 19 PDC titles, including a big one at the European Championship
57.
and the World Cup, of course. He's got literally dozens of DPA, Darts Players Australia titles. We're up at more than a quarter of a century of those. He's won WDF ranking titles. He, of course, was the first player to be a beaten finalist in both codes without winning the world title.
and almost
42.
single-handedly
Simon, you require
caused
167.
Australian TV to start putting darts on live. Otherwise, Aussies were watching darts with a 6-month delay.
86.
Yeah, I mean, look, Tony
Damon, you
David was
require
obviously a
122.
huge character on Australian darts. Simon Whitlock, just as enormous. And Damon Heta may become as significant as those two. Can he find the 54 here? No, he can't. Always looked difficult after that first dart. That's why he had to move.
If he had another route, he would have used it, but he didn't have another route.
33. Simon,
I'm
you
becoming more
require
convinced that going for the
81.
bullseye first on 1-2-2 is a very, very valid option.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Definitely being used more these days. And the bullseye's not going to get used at all with this last dart because that was Whitlock being ultra aggressive, trying to get that treble 12.
49. Damon, you require 89.
Damon's MO is all about trying to leave double 16. Is he getting a shot at the bull? He is.
41.
It's a bit off so
Simon,
far,
you
his
require
radar.
32.
And Whitlock could take full advantage of it for a 2-0 lead.
A little half step to open up the double eights. Oh, now he's going to have to thread it. Oh,
Game
that's
shot,
really
second leg.
nicely done by Simon
Simon
Whitlock. It's
Whitlock.
not been the prettiest start to this, but it's 2-0 to the
Third
Wizard.
leg, Simon to throw first. Game on.
You know those scientists that can cut down trees and age them by looking at the circles? Is that how you age Simon Whitlock, by looking at his hair? At the length of it? Because he's got
82.
different things in the lengths of it. Look.
Yeah, I dread to delve too deep into Simon Whitlock's hair care routine.
Pun intended.
Such as it is. It's certainly not, yeah. Not without a hazmat suit.
It's got to be one of the most
24.
iconic sporting haircuts.
Yeah, but you kind of got used to it. Like, same with, look, if you watch darts for any period of time, you see Peter Wright get on stage, you go, oh, there's Peter Wright. But if you'd never seen Peter Wright before, you'd go, what the hell is that?
140.
It's the same with Simon Whitlock.
Well, can you imagine if Travis Kelce turned up at the Super Bowl with a haircut like Peter Wright's?
Yeah, I mean, it's odd. All human life is here in darts.
59.
I mean, I've got used to Damon Heta's moustache, but
That is approaching Ronnie Sharp greatness. It's thick now. It's still not Ronnie Sharp's though.
180.
And it's not Beaton's at its peak.
certainly not, but he's persevered with it. Now Whitlock needs to fill that up and does do to get to a finish. Leaves the 156. Heta to get his first leg on the board, and against the darts as well. He's going to be forced to go 14s, and that leaves double 11. Yeah, very, very nicely done, Damon Heta. He's in this game now.
Damon to throw first.
I know why he grew this moustache, you know, because he didn't want a certain Dan Dawson likening him to an American Dad character anymore.
140.
It's worked.
Must be something about Aussies and facial hair. You got the beard to be feared
95.
and the moustache on the attack.
It almost worked.
Couldn't think of anything better. I tried to grow one of those for Movember, but 12, 13 years ago.
96.
I took it off. I felt like I lost weight. I think Simon tried Movember once and just never looked back.
59.
1978.
How do you rate their chances of getting another World Cup? Because that's a few months away. I'm sure there's a lot of reps
95.
and wins in the tank for these two over the next few months.
Well, the weird thing is, in my opinion, I felt Simon Whitlock did a lot of the heavy lifting in that World Cup. I don't think Damon Heta was particularly good, and he was the form player all around that. He was playing amazingly in 2022. And look at this. The Heat misses out on a 170. So if they are to turn up and Whitlock can be decent, and Heta plays like he's been doing for most of the time, they've got a real chance.
Yeah, I really like what I'm seeing from Simon in this game. He's playing better here than he did this afternoon. 2 8s.
Game on the fourth leg.
We have a level game.
Damon Heta.
Good start from Whitlock. He has been pegged back. And that is very much Australian vernacular for hitting doubles.
134.
Pegging is doubling in Australia. You go to any darts club around the country and you have someone ask about how you finished. They'd say, how did you peg?
So valuable insight into the world of pegging from Paul Nicholson there.
They say it better.
44.
So it's got a bit of culture. I like it, Paul.
It's different around the world. You go to North America, how did you shoot?
I think we're on safer ground there.
140
for Heta. He's after a slow start, the first 2 legs, he's not done a great deal. But now this is the Damon Heta that we've been seeing on the Pro Tour already. But Whitlock, 3 legs running now, maximum.
This looks really encouraging. No matter what happens for the rest of the weekend, I can see Whitlock putting something together here with an almost old school setup.
143.
He's back to foldable flights and stems that aren't made anymore, and a cylindrical barrel with no scallops in it. This is him playing with old style equipment and playing better.
91.
There's life in the old
Damon,
dog,
you require
every time you
164.
doubt him, he comes and finds something. And look at Merv. Merv was on the way out. Merv could have lost his tour card. Merv's 60 up on Ricardo Pietrezco, and they're both averaging 107.
Require 52.
That's over on the outer boards on board 8. Whitlock to regain the lead in this game, double 16. The 54-year-old is 3-2 up on his younger compatriot.
Simon Whitlock, 6-leg Damon to throw first.
I think there are a lot of people out there, Dan, who are thinking because Steve Beaton's going to hang up his PDC career
100.
at the end of the season that maybe Merv might do the same. I'm not so sure. I think Merv might dig the fight over the next 10 months. It would be something, wouldn't it?
37.
If we have another story in this tournament, or something over the next 3/4 of a year where someone like Merv gets an elusive major title.
Oh, Merv and King were to win a major.
96.
Almost 20 years after winning the World Masters as well.
Yes, sorry, a PDC major. He is a
42.
major champion, Merv and King. That's often overlooked.
Really good game. Right about the same sort of range as this one on board 6 between Leonard Gates and Martin Lukman. We'll keep you up to date with all of those results, but Damon Heta is starting to heat up again, and I'm not talking about his fake hair that could have been put out at the start of the match.
96.
I like that.
Damon
Heta's
require
hit a 180 to leave
125.
125. Now, you might think, well, Whitlock wasn't on a finish, so he can do whatever he likes. He's going to set. Oh, he's going for this. He's going for this. Oh.
100.
Well, I was talking about Damon Heta being aware of the situation because he didn't knock himself out of rhythm, gave himself a great chance to get in the 180, and he just seems to be in the mood to try and finish things as quickly as possible.
Damon,
here,
you
Heta.
require 25.
He's trying to outdo Simon there. We know what he likes to do with bullseyes when it comes to finishing. But that is a very tidy finish. We've got a level game once again.
7th leg, Simon.
There's going to be a lot of people watching this game in Australia. They're going to be gripped on this one.
Winning legs for Damon Heta in this game. 2 14 darters and a 12 darter.
44.
His winning legs have been excellent. Now, his overall average is around about the 100 mark. It's dragged down by the first 2 legs of the match where he didn't do a great deal. But if he can stay in
60.
this kind of zone from now until the end of the game, Whitlock is going to find it very difficult to live with. The last time they played, actually, was 2022 Pro Tour event, 1st to 6 game. Went the distance. Whitlock averaged 106 and lost
21.
it.
I remember a game they played in Germany once that went the distance. And
137.
I was following it on Dark Connect whilst commentating on another one. And I think it was 144 that Damon took out in leg 11 when Simon was sitting on a double to win the match.
Well, that would have been the one. That was in Niedenhausen, their most recent meeting, around the sort of pretty much 2 years ago exactly.
Yeah, it was a sickening end to what was maybe one of the games of the month. And sometimes you just wish you'd seen that game. But the thing about the UK Open is that you can see every game via the stream. Great innovation from the PDC.
Well, this time, Damon not trying to take out the big finish unnecessarily.
The worrying thing here is that Whitlock seems to be losing his range on that treble 20 bed.
60.
And Damon is all over him at this point.
Yeah, to take the lead in this match, Damon Heta not moving and finding the target, and this is really impressive from Heta. It is another 14 darter for the heat.
There's a somewhat ominous look on the face of Damon.
140.
We talk a lot about travelling to Minehead from wherever you live in the UK, and it's a bit of a trudge, it's a bit of a long journey, but to the Aussies, it's just around the corner.
Well, I mean, he lives quite a bit closer now. He's moved over to Herefordshire in recent weeks as Damon. So Jim Williams territory, Shobden, I believe it is.
Well, he's not far from Terry Jenkins as well.
Yes, true.
If you need any antiques, Damon, just call Terry.
That's more like it from the Wizard. Back in that treble bed. Looking to fight back. We can just snag that breaker throw back before the mid-game break.
44.
Get things back on a level footing with his World Cup teammate.
These are the games you want to be involved in. Really good tussles where there's no nastiness. It's just a really good dust-up. And that's what we've been getting tonight with Noppert and Clemens. Michael Smith and Cullen was excellent. We haven't seen the best part of this match yet. But Whitlock's got to go for this one. Good recovery. And like I said earlier tonight, we've seen a couple of these earlier on this afternoon. One from Robert Owen. That 60's almost blocked.
60.
So all he can do is trim off the 60 and hope that Whitlock fails on Motown.
Four tops it is. No, it isn't. 12 double 16. It's not in the way of that double 8. Easier to find, and he's got the break straight back. Damon Heta, a poor scoring leg there, can tell you. Confirmation, Rob Cross, finalist last night in Exeter in the Premier League, has beaten Roby John Rodriguez by 10 legs to 3, 98 average from Cross. Very, very solid. Been an awful lot of that stuff from Rob Cross over the last 18 months, 2 years.
135.
Menzies Anderson next on board 5. My word, what a game that is.
Ross Smith averaging 98 and losing. Plus ça change for Smudger. I don't know how he keeps doing it.
Have you got any subtitles for that?
Same Smith, different day.
Aye. You see.
100.
You've got one player there in Ross Smith who you think is going to have a great year, and Darryl Gurney, who you think, well, he's got to do something this year just to put himself back on the map. And I suppose, in a sense, that's the case in this contest here. But Heta's already done something this year. He'll want to do more, whereas Whitlock just wants to be part of the top table again.
Damon Heta, ranked number 11 in the world right now. He's provisionally set to go into the top 10. Obviously, Danny Noppert's in danger of dropping out, but he's still in the tournament. Could defend that prize money.
There's only 3 Aussies have been to the top 10 in the PDC rankings, and no Aussie has ever been world number 1 in the PDC. Russell Stewart once got to world number 2 in the 80s.
I remember Simon Whitlock, after winning the World Cup, was confidently claiming Damon Heta is going to be a world champion. He thinks he is absolutely sensational, and he is right, but he's not been sensational the last 2 legs. He's completely gone off the boil in the scoring phase.
Oh, the counting. Oh, so good. Double 6. Double 3.
66.
But my word, the ability to get to 170 from 299 there, that was so impressive.
Oh, and he's given himself a chance. And he cannot follow it. All that brilliant work to give himself the opportunity. All right, it's not paid off, but he keeps on doing that stuff. You will win a leg somewhere. And in a game like this, a leg might be the difference.
Straightforward or 2-2-2? Got to power past it. Oh, it's a wonderful dart from Captain Whitlock.
Well, he was 2-1 up and 3-2 up, then 4-3 down, and now he's 5-4 up. Simon Whitlock has kind of weathered the storm from the heat.
134.
Can he come again, hold his throw, and make it 5 apiece at the halfway stage?
I think you need derby matches in darts, don't you? I think we've already had one with Michael Smith and Cullen. It felt like a derby match.
Yeah, well, the 2 World Cup partners here facing off. It is an absolute travesty that we have not been treated in the draw for a Kim Huybrechts Mike De Decker game, or a Kim Huybrechts Dimitri van den Berg game this weekend. Not going to see that because Kim has gone down to Keane Barry.
That game will come. Would have been really cool to get that game next week.
While we live in hope. Whitlock the aggressor in this little mini period of the game.
140.
A chance to apply some pressure. Even one treble gets him to a finish.
This is the last leg before the break. And slipping into the 3 there caused him issues. And it means that Heta's got 6 from here to be equalising. And 5-5 after 10. That he will take.
Yeah, I like that route. 2 treble 17s would have left double 16 as it is.
It's a very Aussie thing to do that. That's where I learned how to do shots like that. They just love the 2 trebles downstairs.
Well, that levels the game up. It is 5 apiece in the clash between the top 2 Australians in this sport. Heta was brilliant in the middle part of that session, but Whitlock better at the start and towards the end. Damon Heta is going to vault his way off the stage and into the break. We'll be back for the conclusion shortly. Well, welcome back for the conclusion of this all-Aussie clash. Damon Heta and Simon Whitlock all tied up at 5 apiece, despite a gap of almost 12 points in the averages. You might wonder how the heck that can happen. Well, what it is Damon Heta has been utterly brilliant in the 5 legs that he's won, and he's been okay in the legs he's lost. Simon Whitlock has been pretty much nowhere near in the legs that he's lost, and has been doing enough in the legs he's won. And he only has to do enough in 5 more legs to beat his countryman and book his spot in round 5. Now, we could be seeing all sorts of things happening in this round, because Mervyn King is rolling back the years. 9-3 up on Ricardo Pietrezco, despite the German averaging 101 in that game. Ross Smith is averaging a ton and losing. We've got Chris Dobie, 7-2 up on Mickey Mansell. Gary Anderson just getting going against Cameron Menzies. But the big story could be on the main stage, where Michael van Gerwen was 5-2 up on Mensur Suljevic. And Mensur has gone 8-6 up.
This is what the UK Open's all about. We don't want things to go to the script. We want the script to be shredded. No pun intended with Brett Claydon, who has been dispatched tonight.
Yes, Brett Claydon going down in the end to Ryan Meikle by 10 legs to 6. But Brett Claydon winning some games at the UK Open, a number of them in fact, having never done so before.
This being an all-Aussie clash, it'd be remiss of us not to mention the fact that these two have made the quarters before, but only one Aussie has been to the semis and beyond. And that was Corey Cadby 6 years ago, who made the final.
Of course, yeah, losing out to Gary Anderson. Well, in fact, Heta was a quarter-finalist 2 years ago. 3 years ago, Whitlock was in the quarterfinals. That is the last major ranking quarterfinal that Whitlock has made. He had made the Masters quarterfinal, but obviously not a ranking
60.
event.
Damon, you require 132.
And not quite the same as battling your way through several rounds.
Well, this time he's gone.
I don't know what his plan is. He's changing things up as he's going along. This needs to be really hard. Yeah.
100.
I think maybe he was feeling so good earlier on that he just felt he could hit anything. And to be honest, he was playing like he could. But now, 10 legs into this match, he'll feel, I've been playing better than this guy. It is 5-all. I've got to really play the percentages, give myself the best chance of winning every leg. And ultimately, he's given himself 3 darts at double 16. He's pinned it with his second. And it's a breaker throw. Heta in the lead again.
Now, you've got to say it's his game to lose. Because, like you said, he's got the better numbers. He's got the position now. And in poker terms, he's pretty much got a full stack.
But what's it like, Paul, when you're in a position, you're playing in a game, you feel like you're so much better consistently over the course of the game than your opponent. You're 10 points clear in the averages, and yet there is nothing between you and the legs.
It's frustrating.
134.
But it's the grey matter between your ears that's going to be tested. You've just got to look at things positively. Don't be one of those players who says, oh, I've played better than they have done all game. And why am I in this mess? That's the negative way of looking at it. If you just think to yourself, I'm playing better than they are, I am now in front, now it's my time to shine. Damon doesn't get anywhere near the credit he deserves for the way he thinks through a game. He's nowhere near his peak. And he's already won a stack of titles. Whereas
55.
This being a somewhat derby match with the two Aussies, there is a risk that you want to win the game too much. You've just got to look at your opponent as another player to beat. It's not a certain
99.
person that you want to beat.
Well, Heta does have a good record against Whitlock. He's got an incredible record against Ryan Searle. Beat him in that final the other day with utter brilliance. A 5th consecutive win against heavy metal, and a flying heavy metal who's averaging about 107 in that final. Bullseye? No.
92.
He's playing sensible darts here, Damon Heta. Nothing flashy.
But the problem for Whitlock is that Heta has now got the comfort
96.
of laying up
Damon,
more often than not. And he's leaving his favourite double a lot. This time he misses it. But the double to the north gives him a first-time 2-leg cushion. And somebody's starting to speed up like a V8 supercar. Whether it be a Holden or a Ford, I don't know which brand he prefers. When you go to Australia, you're either a Ford person or a Holden guy. You know about that?
No, I do not, Paul.
Holdens are like Vauxhalls, but they're really, really quick. They have these V8 supercars over there. It's a big, big thing.
59.
And which one were you? Actually, don't care. Never mind.
I was a Holden guy because
Okay.
they were just cool. The Utes were better.
Ute. There's something I've
59.
come across in Australian culture. Oh my word, Ross Smith might be about to win despite playing brilliantly. 12 points clear of Darryl Gurney in the averages. He is 9-8 up. Ross Smith, maybe this is the weekend that his
58.
brilliance is accompanied by a little bit of fortune as well. Having said that, we saw Ryan Searle battle back from 8-2 down to lead 9-8 and then go out of the tournament.
60.
We don't have many ever-present players in the UK Open now, do we? Because Steve Beaton and James Wade, is that it?
It's a very good question you posed, Paul Nicholson.
Yeah, it was Wayne Jones used to be one. He's no longer an ever-present. Well, Whitlock's been in this tournament ever since 2010. Never missed a year. His first ever win in the UK Open was against a certain Rhys Robinson. And then he lost out to Robert Thornton. Oh, he beat Robert Thornton, then he lost out to Taylor. I do beg your pardon. And that's when the last 16 was best of
60. Damon,
well, first to 9. Nowadays we play first to 10 at this stage.
Well, Damon Heta is closing in on 10 here. Well, he's missed the single number.
78. Simon, you require 140.
Missed that by some distance as well. Well over an inch.
He did, but he's got 3 clear darts at double 16 unless Whitlock pulls out a little trick. And he might be doing just that, double 10. Oh, Simon Whitlock. Out of nowhere, he plucks that out.
A little bit of vintage, that one. He used to do that an awful lot to people. Shades of that
59.
First PDC World Championship he played at Alexandra Palace, because he did play at the Tavern earlier in his career. And he had that set with Wade, didn't he?
93.
Where he had a 150 out and a 170 in the same set. That was unbelievable at the time. It had Alexandra Palace to their knees.
59.
I can tell you that from 5-2 down, Mensur Suljovic has won 8 of the next 10 legs to beat Michael van Gerwen 10-7. I had to double check that. 10-7. Mensur Suljovic has beaten the multiple champion Michael van Gerwen, the man who is sitting on top of the Premier League.
137.
And it always blows the tournament wide open when MVG goes. He was the title favourite prior to a dart being thrown.
140.
He is out at the very first hurdle as far as he is concerned. Simon Whitlock is fighting back in this game. Damon Heta looked like he might be running away with it. Whitlock going the 17s route for the 1-3-4.
85. Damon, you require 146.
That last dart was a bit of a quizzical one. Damon was trying to hit Wizard's shot. That 146, which was
84.
famously hit in
Simon, you
2013 in the Euros
49.
against Jamie Caven in the last leg. But it is double 16 eventually for Simon.
17.
And those could be crucial
Damon, you
misses.
require 62.
Damo's MO is all about double 16 and last dart conversions on that double. And that's what he's got.
46.
Not this time.
Simon, you require 32.
For a level game.
Game
And Whitlock not
40
only
flag.
levels,
Simon
but has
Whitlock.
the darts. There is still this chasm in the averages, and it
50
does
flag,
not
Simon to
matter.
throw first.
Because Simon Whitlock knows 3 holds of throw will be enough.
Dave Chisnell's in the next round. He's beaten Nick Kenny by 10 legs to 4 out on board 7. And now Damon, after that 180 is hit by Captain Whitlock, is now starting to think this one is going as deep as anything he could possibly imagine right now.
57.
This one is going the distance.
And Whitlock, the 180s is one measure where he is outperforming Heta. He's hit 5 in this game compared to Heta's 2, but Heta has more regularly been hitting that treble 20 throughout the match. But he had a little spell towards the back end of the first session where a couple of legs where he just could not score particularly well. And if he's going through one of those here, he is in real trouble.
They've both had spells
97.
in their careers at different times, admittedly, where they've been the most prolific 180 hitter. Now, Whitlock had that purple patch, didn't he, when he owned Van Gerwen?
96.
And he was hitting the maximums in the Grand Slam like he was throwing porcupines. And Damo, the last couple of years, has been a sneaky 180 brute.
135.
Really has. One of the
Simon,
most
you
prolific
require
maximum hitters
104.
in the game. Okay, 21 off, it can still be done. Oh, not that way it can't. That is so far.
Look on the bright side, he's left himself on 10s, but it's almost as if he punched it into the sat-nav and he took the scenic route.
Yeah, really was.
190.
Now, Simon Whitlock,
you require 20.
double 10 for the lead in this game, improbably. He's got it. 8-7 Whitlock.
Simon Whitlock, 16 black Damon to throw first.
This game is a real hodgepodge. I have no idea what's going to happen next, and that's why it's so brilliant.
But the 140 checkout is an absolute game changer from Whitlock. Damon Heta had left himself on double 16 for what would have been a 4th consecutive leg
60.
and an 8-5 lead. And Simon Whitlock plucks out the 140 checkout, his first dart at double for 4 legs at the end of a massive combination.
96.
He's then won the subsequent 2, and 2 more will be enough.
Sounds easy in theory,
100.
but nothing is easy when you get to this stage of a UK Open. He's had a very, very long day, has Whitlock. Maybe not as long as somebody else, but he's the only person, like I said a little bit earlier in the match, that has
96.
played this afternoon and is playing on stage 2 tonight.
Just the 30, but if you can have some bad scores, have them on the Heta throw. 2 more good legs is all he needs
100.
for the Wizard to be in the hat for the next round. A hat which does not include Michael van Gogh, and a hat that does not include Joe Cullen.
A hat that includes Chris Dobie, though. He's beaten Mickey Mansell 10-3 with an average very close to 100. Only 2 points outside the finishing zone here, Whitlock, but those 2 points could cost him dear.
119.
Gives Heta the luxury of 1-5-1 and 6.
Yeah, lovely setup from Damon Heta today.
58. Damon, you require 32.
Well, just to stop this little run of legs, and he does that very emphatically. Once again, Damon Heta, he's not won any bad legs, has he? Every single leg he's won has been, well, he's had a 15 darter, everything else has been
59.
14 darts or better. And a 14 darter is 107 average.
Yeah, he's in pretty good nick. He's in, cricketing terms, Steve Smith nick, which is pretty good. And I'd call that a 6.
The
The 3rd maximum for Damon Heta in this match. Attacking the Whitlock throw.
Shades of 2012 when he won the Euros there. If you watch that tournament back, you notice that Whitlock sped up in his last 2 matches. When he gets comfortable,
96.
he does speed up.
$60.
Oh, now Heta. He's forced the opening.
Is he going to stay up on the 20s here? Maybe he should have moved on dart 2.
Well, he's not left himself finish. Whitlock should.
128.
He certainly does.
Well, 140 was a game changer. My word, if he was to hit this 134, it would be seismic. But is he going to go for the 51s again?
95.
Go the old down under
Somebody
route?
require 134.
He's not going to do it this time. He's going to go for the 54. Interesting game plan change there from Whitlock. And it will be the 18s for Heta.
Damon, you require 86.
I said that will be seismic. This is for a break of throw, and it might just have to be the bullseye.
It is the bull. And that is the bullseye. What a shot from Damon Heta. It might be the decisive one. It breaks the Whitlock throw, and he is now throwing for the match. Whitlock stranded on 76. And Damon Heta, look, it may only have been a 15 darter, but it is worth its weight in gold.
Here's the thing. Those shots really do hurt when you see them planted against you.
82.
But if Whitlock thinks back over the last 25 years, he's done that to an awful lot of people. That's darts.
Well, this game could change again. There's enormous respect
100.
between these two. I don't think whoever loses, he's not going to be moaning about it, but Damon Heta will find it incredible. The toilet break needed for Simon Whitlock. Now, I was just talking about the respect between these two. So I don't think there's any skullduggery involved here. I think just Simon Whitlock really does need to go to the loo.
Not at all. Not at all. I think if you think about Simon is over 50, this is just the right thing to do. It's Damon's not going to have any complaints about this whatsoever.
Well, let me put it to you. Had it been another player in another situation, we're not going to name names. This could have been construed as gamesmanship. I don't believe that's the case.
Do you remember Scott Mitchell when he won a game at Lakeside and he had to run after a match dart was planted straight to the bathroom? It happens. These are long games as well.
Certainly are. I also remember in the UK Open, no less, Phil Taylor, John Part, where it went 10-all. I think it was the UK Open. And there was no scheduled break, and Phil Taylor took the break because Part had forced his way back into the match, and he's admitted since that it was a power play by him.
Before I played Dennis Priestley at the 2009 Worlds, I was informed by the Players' Marshal that if Dennis wanted a break after every set, it would be granted because of medical grounds. Not a problem. I don't see any issue with this whatsoever. It just so happens it's towards the end of the match, but it was never going to be at the beginning. It was never going to be 3/4 through the game. It was always going to be towards the end, and this is not a problem, honestly.
No, I don't think it is. I think Damon will see it as one.
He'll come back to the stage, he'll say, thank you very much for your understanding. They'll get on with the rest of the game.
Yeah, and look, it may only take 2 visits for Damon Heta to wrap this up. Or we might see Simon Whitlock force a last leg decider. If he does, he will have the darts. Let's run you through what's going on the other boards, because right now it is 5-all between Cameron Menzies and Gary Anderson. Gary Anderson, the top performer in the world of darts this year in terms of the averages. He's averaging about 102, 103 across all competitions. He is averaging less than 90, and Cameron Menzies has decided that looks fun, I'll do the same, and it's 5-all. It is 2 apiece between big Vincent van der Voort and even bigger Boris Kritschmar. Scott Mitchell and Nathan Aspinall just underway. The former champion Nathan Aspinall has taken the opening leg in that one. Adam Gavlas, semi-finalist last year, remember, often overlooked in the hullabaloo over Andrew Gilding's sensational title victory. He's taking on Krzysztof Ratajski. Leonard Gates has already played Martin Lukeman. That's Dart Connect being absolutely weird. The Masters champion Stephen Bunting is just getting going against Danny Lorby. In fact, I have no idea what's going on in Leonard Gates versus Martin Lukeman because I've got about 4 different scores on Dart Connect for it, so who knows? But it'll be very, very exciting.
I think Damon's doing the right thing here, Dan, just keeping himself in rhythm, getting ready for when action does commence again.
If you're Damon Heta here and you're just practicing, you know this, you need to take out 341 in as few darts as possible. Are you just playing from 3-4-1 over and over again?
Yes.
Here? You're just trying to get that. Try and do it in 2 visits or 3 visits, realistically.
Absolutely. This is not a time to just go for 60s or balls or anything like that. Try and complete what you have got to do. This is a very unusual situation, so use this time that you've got to plan for what's going to happen next.
Yeah, because look, you may think, oh well, this is not going to be ideal for Damon Heta. It is not ideal for Simon Whitlock. Yes, he's got a moment to go to the loo. He's got to gather his thoughts. But as John Parr always says, and I think it's the best way of looking at any strange situation in this sport, or indeed any sport, or indeed life, John Part, philosopher, he says, if something unexpected happens, if the conditions aren't absolutely ideal, all you need to do is handle it better than the guy you're playing, and you've got an advantage. You could be playing in a force 9 gale, but if you deal with it better than he does, you've actually got the advantage here.
It's the same for both players, and Simon is returning by the sounds of it. Damo's still in focus mode.
It is the long way round that you have to go to get on the stage. Damon Heta took the short way going off the stage at the first session by jumping off it. Simon Whitlock has just received a cheer on returning from the toilet. This is darts, ladies and gentlemen.
The only person in Red's Bar right now who is not seeing the lighter side of this is Damon Heta, because he's got a job to do. But Whitlock is still in this match.
Well, this is that's a new chant I've heard at the darts, one that I shall not be repeating. And we're not being broadcast on any proper TV channel, so I don't have to apologise for it. I thought it was amusing.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Game on.
The practice darts are over and we are back on the game. Got to get back in the game and fast. The clock has been ticking.
And it has been going around in Damon Heta's head for the last few minutes. 3-4-1 in 3 visits. Ideally 2, but get the job done, get the match won.
100.
And that's all right. But he is certainly not in an impregnable position.
Should realistically have 6 darts from 2-4-1 now.
81.
And he will have. Get a 1-4-5 here, that's Dream Street, but it's not going to happen.
58.
Doesn't even leave the finish. Now, Damon Heta will be starting to get a little anxious.
Think about it this way, what if Damon needs the toilet now?
58.
Yeah, that would be a power play if he lost this leg.
Oh, this is good. It's
140.
fabulous. It's a guaranteed look at 40 through to get this match done. It might not go the distance after all.
Damon, you require 43.
Simon Whitlock leaves himself Shanghai, but Damon Heta gets match darts, double 16. Moves across, high part of the bed.
11.
Does not find it, 2 match darts missed. And Simon Whitlock,
120.
who has been clinging on and clinging on all the way through this game. He's not looking at 2 balls, he's going to try and find the treble. And he cannot do it.
Surely this time,
55.
Heta with 3 at double 16, his favourite double, is going to put his name in the hat.
And that's what he does, a 10-8 victory. Damon Heta sees off his fellow World Cup winner despite an unscheduled delay. He averaged 10 points more than him pretty much all the way through that match, but Whitlock kept on sticking at it and was not far away from forcing a last leg decider. He made life hard for him. Simon Whitlock looked unflushable until Damon Heta got the job done.